There's a woman, sitting alone in the quiet of her home. The television hums in the background, but she's not watching. The book on her lap is open, but she's not reading. Instead, her mind drifts backward through time, to a moment, a conversation, a fleeting touch. She's searching, rewinding memories like old film reels, looking for something, anything, that tells her what she needs to know. Did he ever really love me? It's a question that lingers in the hearts of countless women, not just the young, not just the newly in love, but women who have spent years, decades even, beside a man, only to wake up one day and realize they were never truly sure. Because love, real love, isn't in the words. It isn't in the grand gestures or the fleeting moments of passion. It is something quieter, something steadier, something that exists whether or not anyone else is watching. Somewhere else, another woman stands at the kitchen sink. The water runs over her hands, warm and soothing, but she doesn't feel it. Her mind is elsewhere. On the man who has loved her for decades, the man who still reaches for her hand when they cross the street, who still remembers exactly how she likes her morning coffee, who never lets her feel alone, even in silence. And yet, she never needed to ask if he loved her. She never had to wonder, because love, when it's real, leaves clues. But not all women see them. Because for every man who loves a woman with his whole heart, there is another who merely stays out of habit, out of convenience, out of comfort. And the difference between them? It is not always obvious. It does not always scream. Sometimes it only whispers. Love. It's a word we hear so often that sometimes it starts to lose its meaning. But if you've lived long enough, if you've seen enough love stories play out in the real world, you begin to understand something important. Love isn't in the grand gestures. It's not in the perfect vacations, the expensive gifts, or the words that come so easily in the beginning. No, real love is something much quieter, something much deeper, something that stands strong, even when the world is silent. Years ago, my grandmother sat me down at the kitchen table. She folded her hands the way she always did, looked me straight in the eye and said, "You'll know a man loves you not by what he says, but by what he does when no one is watching." I was young then, I didn't fully understand, but as the years passed, I saw it with my own eyes. I saw it in the way my grandfather never let her open a door for herself, in the way he waited up for her even when he was exhausted, in the way he never raised his voice even when she did. And that's when I realized, love, real love is not loud, it's not dramatic. It doesn't ask for attention, but if you know what to look for, it is unmistakable. The problem is, most people don't know what to look for. They mistake infatuation for love. They mistake habit for devotion. They mistake companionship for commitment. And that's why so many women wake up years later sitting in a quiet room asking themselves that same haunting question. Did he ever really love me? But here's the truth. Love, real love, always leaves clues. And once you see them, you'll never doubt again. So now, we listen. We watch. We uncover the 12 things a man does only for the woman he truly loves. The signs that tell the story no words ever could. The actions that cannot be faked, cannot be forced, and cannot be misunderstood, if only you know what to look for. And if you stay until the very end, you'll discover the one sign that most women never recognize until it's far too late. The one sign that, once you see it, will change the way you understand love forever. Now let's begin. Love is not measured in grand gestures or extravagant words. It's measured in the quiet, consistent actions that whisper, "You are important, you are seen, you are loved." And if a man truly loves you, his actions will speak louder than any words ever could. So let's begin. Here are the 12 things a man does only for the woman he truly loves. Tip number 1, he listens with his whole heart. A man in love listens, not just with his ears, but with his heart. You tell him a childhood memory once, months later, he brings it up. You say you're tired after a long day. Without asking, he lightens your load. When a man loves you, he doesn't just hear you, he absorbs your words because they matter to him. Number 2, he protects you. Protection isn't just about keeping you safe, it's about making sure you never feel alone. It's in the way he instinctively stands closer to you when walking at night. The way he shields you, not just from harm, but from stress, from doubt, from loneliness. A man in love protects your body, your mind, and most importantly, your heart. Number 3, He respects your independence. Love isn't about control. A man who loves you will never ask you to shrink so that he can shine. He encourages your dreams, rather than making you choose between him and your ambitions. He doesn't compete with your success, he celebrates it. True love doesn't limit you, it empowers you. Number 4, he remembers the little things. Big gestures are impressive, but the smallest details, they reveal the depth of love. He knows how you like your coffee. He remembers that song you hum when you're happy. He notices when your mood changes, even before you say a word. Love is in the details, and a man in love, he never forgets the details of you. And number 5, he makes sacrifices, even when it's inconvenient. A man in love doesn't just show up when it's easy, he shows up when it's hard. He drives through the rain to be by your side. He gives up his comfort for your peace, not because he has to, but because he wants to. Love is not measured in convenience, it is measured in sacrifice. Number 6, he includes you in his future. A man in love doesn't make last-minute plans, he makes lifelong ones. He doesn't just say, I want to travel someday. He says, we should travel there together. He doesn't just talk about the future, he builds it with you in mind. Love doesn't live in the present alone, it is always looking forward together. Number 7, he stays when things get tough. Love isn't tested in the good times, it's tested in the storms. When life gets hard, does he pull away or does he pull you closer? When you're at your lowest, does he disappear or does he become your strength? A man in love does not leave when things get difficult. He stays and he fights, not against you, but for you. Number 8, he prioritizes your happiness. A man in love doesn't just ask what makes you happy, he finds ways to bring you joy. He notices the things that light up your face, and he does them, not for recognition, not for praise, but simply because your happiness matters to him. Love is about seeing joy in another's smile and knowing, in that moment, you wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Number 9, he fights for the relationship. Love isn't about never arguing, it's about fighting for each other, not against each other. When things get rough, he doesn't walk away, he doesn't ignore the issue. He fights for the relationship, for the love, for the life you've built together. A man in love does not give up when things get hard. He stands his ground because losing you is never an option. Number 10, he makes you feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. A man in love doesn't just protect your body, he protects your heart. You never have to wonder where you stand. You never have to question if he truly cares. His love is steady, unwavering, and safe. Love is not meant to leave you anxious or uncertain. It should be the safest place you know. Number 11, he loves you as you are, without trying to change you. A man in love sees your flaws and loves you not in spite of them, but because they make you who you are. He doesn't try to reshape you into someone else. He embraces every part of you, the laughter, the tears, the imperfections, because to him, you are already enough. Real love does not ask you to change, it asks you to be, and it loves you just as you are. And finally, number 12, he loves you even when no one is watching. The truest test of love, it's not in what he does when others are looking, it's in what he does when there's no one to impress. Does he cherish you when there's no audience? Does he choose kindness when there's no reward? A man who loves you does not love you for show. He loves you because, in his heart, he cannot imagine not loving you. Love is not a mystery. It's not something that leaves you confused, wondering where you stand. Real love, it is felt, seen, and known in the quiet, unspoken moments. We've walked through the 12 things a man does only for the woman he truly loves. And now, I want to hear from you. Which of these signs have you experienced in your own life? Have you ever been loved in a way that made you feel truly safe, truly seen, truly valued? Or have you spent years wondering? Let's talk in the comments. Your story, your wisdom, your experience. Someone out there needs to hear it today. And if you've never had a love like this, if you're still searching, know this: you deserve nothing less. You deserve a love that is quiet but unwavering. A love that does not shout but shows. A love that in its very existence never makes you doubt. If this topic's resonated with you, if it made you reflect, if it reminded you of something or someone, tap the like button. Let's make sure that wisdom like this reaches the people who need it most. And more importantly, share this with someone. a friend, a sister, a mother, someone who might be questioning, someone who needs to know what love should truly feel like. Because when love is when real, it will never be a guessing game. And before we close, there's one last thing. One final truth about love that I need you to hear. Stay with me for this final thought. It may be the most important thing you'll ever learn about the way a man loves. Love, real love, is not perfect. It is not without flaws, not without mistakes, not without moments of frustration or misunderstanding. But in the midst of all of that, in the small, everyday choices, love remains. It chooses, it stays, it does. A man who loves you may not always say the right things. He may not always know how to express it in words. But if you look closely, if you pay attention, you will see it in his actions. Because love is not found in grand declarations or fleeting moments of passion. It is in the way he makes sure you are safe, the way he listens when no one else does, the way he never lets you carry the weight of life alone, the way he stays, not just in the easy times, but in the moments when staying is a choice. And if you have found someone like this, someone who does these things for you, cherish them, because a love like that is rare, and it is worth holding on to. But if you haven't found it yet, if you've spent years wondering, questioning, doubting, I need you to hear this. Real love still exists, and more importantly, you deserve it. You deserve a love that is steady, that does not make you feel small, that does not leave you guessing. You deserve a love that does not just say the right things, but does the right things. Because at the end of the day, love is not a feeling. It is a choice made every single day in both the quiet and the chaos. A choice to stay, to support, to protect, to listen, to cherish, to love, not just in words, but in action. So if you ever find yourself questioning love, if you ever find yourself wondering, don't listen to what is said, look at what is done. Because true love does not need validation. It speaks even in silence. It proves itself even in the smallest, quietest moments. Please hear me when I say this. True love still exists, and you deserve it.